Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to review a favorite film from back in 1982, Beastmaster. This is a classic sword and sorcerer cheese fest. From beginning to end, it is one long spool of cheese, but it is glorious. Basically, the story is our young hero, stolen from his mother's womb, literally, is raised by a simple farmer, but grows up to become a great hero, eventually avenging the death of his mother, and helps to set the proper prince on the throne to the kingdom. In a nutshell, that's what you've got. It isn't a particularly original story. The whole idea of a lost son coming back and either taking the throne himself or helping someone take his place because he's decided to walk a different path is not uncommon. But the journey from point A to to A to Z in this is just wonderful. You have Marc Singer playing Dar, our hero, who is the Beastmaster. He has a wonderful ability to control, to a certain extent, the animals that he's encountered. Specifically, a golden eagle, what is supposed to be a very large panther, but it's in actuality a tiger dyed black, and two ferrets. You also have his love interest, Tanya Roberts, playing Kiri. One of his compatriots, is it Josh Amos? Is his name? John Amos, playing Seth, who is a wonderful character. He just fills up the screen whenever he's on there. It was so much fun to see him in this movie. And then you have Rip Torn ripping up every scene he's in as the bad guy. He just chews up the scenery. He is so completely over the top. It's glorious. You can't take this film seriously. And if you just kind of sit back and let it wash over you, you'll have a good time. I had a good time when I saw this movie in 1982, and I've seen it dozens of times on cable television, and it's apparently one of the most often run movies ever played on cable TV. I guess I was unaware of this fact. And Marc Singer does a wonderful job as the main character, Dar. He had a Shakespearean background, so he really could bring a presence to this and really put his heart into it. And that's one of the things I loved about the characters in this film. Every single person who's played these characters put their all into it. Yes, the writing was, the scenes were absurd. The special effects were often bad, but they put everything they had into those roles, and they made the most they could out of what they had, and I love them for that. Also, Marc Singer was a very athletic, well-built man at this time in his career. He was a bodybuilder in the sense that he was really worked out to get himself into condition, but he wasn't a bodybuilder in the same sense that, say, Schwarzenegger was. Dar's character had an athletic, slim build. He looked like a warrior. He actually reminded me a lot of a swimmer, because a swimmer has a really overall tone. The kind of thing they do has to use every muscle they've got. And that's the kind of build that Marc Singer had. And I think it was very appropriate. It's like, a lot of the really overly muscled guys like Schwarzenegger and stuff, yes, they look impressive, but they don't really look like warriors in my book. They look like they can barely wipe their own buns, let alone wield a sword effectively. But Marc Singer really looked the part. So I really enjoyed this film. I had a good time. Now, when I watched this recently, I listened to the audio commentary track for the first time. And it was really cool to hear about the kind of budget constraints they had when this film was being made. How tight their margins were. The fact that their special effects team completely screwed up. They had to fire them and hire somebody else. That they had to switch animal trainers halfway through the film. And that really complicated things. The fact that they had to dye a tiger black, and the dye kept washing off its muzzle. And the fact they had 20 ferrets to get the two ferrets to appear to do all the different things that were done in the film. The fact that their golden eagle would pretty much do nothing. And the only way they got the thing to fly was put it in a basket, send it up in the air in a balloon, and then remotely open the bottom of the basket so the eagle had a choice, either fly or fall. Um, I found that fascinating. They talked about the different kind of roles that these people had in the past, and what they brought to the production, how they used extras, how the stuntmen were filling in all these different roles, how the animal trainers were filled in multiple times. Because whenever you had a scene where someone is being attacked by the tiger, that's the animal trainer. So multiple scenes, the same guy is being put in different costumes to hide the fact that he's the same guy. The fact that you couldn't be around the tiger with any kind of wound, no bandage, no nothing. That the actor playing the prince was never allowed to be around the tiger because of his size. The tiger might perceive him as a food animal, not a good thing. But the commentary track was just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed listening to it. The problems they had, the way they overcame the issues they had, it was really fascinating. In fact, there was a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff in this commentary track that you didn't get in a lot of commentary tracks I listened to, and I appreciate that. A lot of the problems they had, and the way they handled them, I thought that was cool. So if you enjoy good sword and sorcery cheese fests, Beastmaster is definitely a film that you have to see if you haven't, and if you have seen it, definitely get it and listen to the commentary track because it's well worth your time.